Okay.
How's
Okay.
everyone doing? I'm Jay.
I'm Athaiah. How are you?
Good.
All right, and I'm Tiana.
Nice to meet y'all.
You as well.
So, so discussion one. Does anyone want to read that out loud, or should we just get to it? Or
I guess we can read, like, yeah, we can just read. I'll read it, I guess. Okay,
okay,
so there is a runaway trolley barreling down the tracks. Ahead on the tracks, there are 5 people tied up and unable to move. The trolley is headed straight for them. You are standing some distance off in the train yard next to a lever. If you pull this lever, the trolley will switch to a different set of tracks. However, you notice that there is one person on the side track. You have 2 options. Do nothing and allow the trolley to kill 5 people on the main track. Option 2, pull the lever, diverting the trolley onto the sidetrack where will kill 1 person. What is the right thing to do? I'll go first since I read it. So my option is option 2, to pull the lever, diverting the trolley onto the sidetrack where it will kill the 1 person.
I agree with that. I think in certain situations where if you choose to do nothing, you definitely worsen the situation. So I feel like you got to step in, step up to the plate here and pull a lever, um,
Mm-hmm.
diverting it. Yeah, because I think either or you're going to be guilty, anyways. I think you'll be
Yep.
guilty that you never did anything, and then those 5 people died. Versus if you would have did something, um, and only killed one. So yeah, option two.
What do you think, Tiana?
I feel like that is also the thing that I would select because there wasn't really any detail about who was on the tracks.
Right.
So I, not knowing who they are going by the principle of one person goes down to save the rest. I guess
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
I would
also
go with that
thinking.
option.
I agree. I was also thinking, we have no idea who the person is on the sidetrack. Like, is it the guy who tied up the 5 people? Is it a bad person? Is it a good person? And not to say that the 5 people are not, bad people, but they are tied down and unable to move. So they kind of seem like the victims in this situation more so than the one person that's just standing on the sidetrack.
Oh yeah, that's a valid point too. Wait, so is that person, that one single person on the right, are they tied up?
No, it just says, however, you notice that there is one person on the sidetrack. So, like, they might
Oh,
just be taking selfies. They might be
okay.
planning some diabolical plan. They might be watching the train about to smash those 5 people. You have no idea what they're doing.
That's a valid point. Yeah, maybe I know it says that the one person do nothing and kill one person. I guess they're not tied up. It's like I guess there's always that what if, like what if they survive, And maybe in that moment
Right.
you're like, oh, that one person's gonna die, but it's 1 versus 5, and you pull a lever, and then that one person who's taking selfies sees that and jumps out of the way, like in the nick of time, and then no one dies. I
Exactly.
guess there's that too. That's a good point. Yeah, 5 people
I've
tied up.
I've seen one scenario for this um, where the train car actually like turns on its side somehow and then gets everybody
Oh, yikes.
accidentally, and I've seen that.
Oh, no, that would be horrible.
All I see, like it made that turn too quickly, and you pull the lever, and it just wipes everyone out, including the operator of the
Yeah.
lever.
Yep.
Right.
That's a, that's a good point too. I guess these trains do need to slow down for certain turns. That turn thankfully doesn't look too sharp though.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really unfortunate that you try to save 5 people and you end up killing everyone.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay.
I still stick with option two though.
Yep.
Same here.
Same. Cool.
All right,
All
so
right,
discussion
discussion two now.
two. Yeah, I'll read it out loud since you read the last one. So this is the lifeboat problem. The ship is sinking and the seas are rough. All but one lifeboat has been destroyed. The lifeboat holds a maximum of 6 people. There are 10 people that want to board the lifeboat. The 4 individuals who do not board the boat will certainly die. We have a woman who thinks she's 6 weeks pregnant, a lifeguard, 2 young adults who recently married, a senior citizen that has 15 grandchildren at home, an elementary school teacher, a 13-year old twins, a veteran nurse, and a captain of the ship. Who do you save? Uh,
This one's kind of hard, in my opinion, because for me, whenever I sit here and think about this, it's kind of like I wish you could dive more into their lives because, like, for example, not to like sway anybody's situation, but for example, the um, woman who thinks she is 6 weeks pregnant, like, that would be a good reason to save her because you don't want to, if she is pregnant, like, that would be horrible to, ruin basically 2 lives. But at the same time, like, is she a good parent? Like, if she is pregnant and then if she does have the kid, like, is she a good mom? Like, will she take care of the kid? Would she give it up for adoption? Or like, is she only using that as a way to survive, but she was already planning to have an abortion? Like, there are like so
yeah,
many things that are like for each person, for each individual, it's like, you know, are these good, inherently good people, or are they bad people? And that would definitely sway my, decision if I knew more about who they were.
yeah. I feel like that was my original, like, on her too. I was like, is she being honest? Is my thing. Like, what if she's not being honest? What if she's just lying? Like, I think I'm pregnant, and just so she can get on that boat, just out of panic. Which I guess I wouldn't blame her for doing it. What that does, yeah, I wish I knew more. And like, and I feel like immediately I don't want to include the captain of the ship on that lifeboat, just because like the captain's supposed to be the last person to save. Um,
Right.
True.
Usually they always say like the captain's supposed to go down with the ship, so I feel like the captain,
Mm.
I kind of have him or her just kind of written off immediately. I don't think I'd save the captain of the ship. And then I'm torn on the lifeguard because something tells me that I shouldn't save the lifeguard, but then at the same time, having a lifeguard on the lifeboat makes sense because let's say they're going back to safety and something occurs, having a lifeguard would definitely be beneficial for, let's say, the elementary school teacher, the 13-year-old twins. Because so I know I'd put the 13-year-old twins on the boat because they're young twins, and that's just wrong to do the kids. So I would definitely put them on there. Um, and I would like the lifeguard to be with the twins, but then a part of me is also saying like, well, if they're super strong swimmers, maybe they could survive not going in the lifeboat. Maybe if they found some like floating debris and swam to like a nearby island or something.
Right. I think I agree with the captain thing because I was also like, you know, the captain in my, like, if you're on a lifeboat, he can't really direct the lifeboat, so he wouldn't be of much help anyways. That
Yeah,
was my kind of thought process. And then I also think that we should save the veteran nurse because depending on how long they've been a veteran for, they might have some very important knowledge that they could help with if somebody's injured and they might need some attending to. They'd have knowledge on what to do once like they're saved, or they can help during like while they're on the lifeboat.
I agree with that.
Right.
She made my list too.
Awesome. um, and I was also thinking, you know, because so my thought process about the 13-year-old twins, and this might sound terrible, but I was like, you know, depending on what the 2 young adults who are recently married, like if they're planning to have kids, and again, that's like one of those things like, well, they can lie and say that they're going to have kids, but if they were planning on having kids, this is gonna be horrible, but you could kind of like toss the 13-year-olds off to the side because the two young adults could have twins, or could possibly have two kids in like 2 years, and we would have two new babies again. But that was kind of like one of those things, like a little far reach for this situation.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But then those 13-year-old twins could have kids of their own too when they grow up.
Yeah.
True.
And a sense of population conservation.
Right.
like you were saying. Like,
no, yeah. I mean, they could
yeah.
potentially have twins too. Those twins could have twins because now they have the gene. So they could have more kids than the two young adults.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
more statistically more likely,
Right. I don't think the seniors. I personally wouldn't save the senior citizen, because I mean, yeah, that's great. They have 15 grandchildren. So it'd be nice to see them, like, I guess, grow old and stuff. But like, you already did your duty in the life of making children and making your kids have kids. So I think they have done their duty. And they're probably old, like senior citizen, that's old. Like, I would not like compare, okay, for again, like the 13-year-old twins and the senior citizen. I would definitely save the 13-year-old twins because they have an entire life to live. The senior citizen has already lived their life.
That was my reasoning too for choosing the senior citizen to not be on the boat, because I feel like if I was a senior citizen and me looking at all these young people, I would be like, hey, I lived my life. I've seen everything that I could see. There's not much more that I can see now. You guys go without me.
Right.
So I feel like, the senior citizen, I guess if I had to make a list of 4 people who don't make it, it's senior citizen, captain of the ship, the lifeguard, and the elementary school teacher.
I was actually about to ask you guys your opinion on the elementary school teacher because I didn't know if we had said anything about them yet.
I chose that one because it's very ambiguous and open ended.
True.
That elementary school teacher could be someone who's close to retirement. They could be older. They could male, female. They could be and maybe
a sucky
teacher, or maybe they're super athletic and they could totally make it to a nearby island with that lifeguard. And captain of the ship.
Oh, true.
I would like to point out, though, it does say that they will, the 4 who do not board the boat will certainly die. So there is no possibility of them. At least that's what it sounds like. Discussion question. It says that they will certainly die.
Yeah, that is true.
So they're probably too far out from any sort of islands.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of unrelated, but slightly related. I actually just watched a horror movie last night called Sweetheart. It was on Netflix, and it was about these this friend group that got stranded on this island. And there was this monster that lived like in this like deep hole, like near the island, and he would come up and like take people from the islands and stuff. So that was crazy. But it was kind of like that too. Like she finally found her, like it was one girl at that time, and then 2 of her friends finally showed up, and she was trying to explain to them like, yo, we gotta go, we need to leave, there's a monster and they're like, he's killing everybody, and they were like, no. And she tried to leave by herself because she's like, well, I'm not going to stay here to die. And so she risked like leaving her boyfriend and I guess best friend to save herself because they weren't listening to her and they weren't wanting to listen. And then they caught her, tied her up, and then they both died. The best friend and the boyfriend died. So it was like, y'all just signed your death letter. But that was interesting, like to see that. I was kind of surprised that she like was attempting to leave those people, her like best friend and her boyfriend, to save herself. But it's kind of relating to this situation.
Yeah, that is kind of related to the situation.
But Yeah, I think that's it was a crazy movie. I would recommend. It
Okay,
was interesting.
I'll have to check that out. So
Yeah.
who do you guys choose to kill per se? Like, who are your 4 people you wouldn't save?
Tiana, do you want to go first?
I hate questions like these because I'm so indecisive.
Right.
I'd probably definitely the captain. I would not save him or her, whoever the captain is. Definitely not the senior citizen. I don't really know about the woman who thinks she's pregnant. I don't really know about that person. I need a few more minutes.
Okay, no problem.
I need a few more minutes.
What about you?
So I definitely, captain of the ship and the senior citizen, I agree with like 100%. And you actually did sway me on the elementary school teacher, so that would be my third person.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. The fourth person, I've got to say the woman who thinks she's 6 weeks pregnant for me. Because, like, in all seriousness, as a woman, when you're people like rarely know when they're 6 weeks pregnant. Like, unless she was pregnant before, but it doesn't say that. But like, you rarely know if you're 6 weeks pregnant because that's like you would have missed.
I can vouch for this. I can
Right?
vouch for this. I have
Right?
experience. I was lucky to find out at just past 5 weeks because I was just super paranoid about it. But
Right. So
I wouldn't have known if I had just kind of shoved that off to the side, like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. And I didn't feel anything until closer to like 8 or 9 weeks. But
yep.
you won't know.
So like based on just like that, I kind of like it seems a little suspicious, and I think she's just saying that to get off on another person who should get on the boat. So I think I'm gonna knock her out.
Right. That's what I was thinking when I said that I wasn't sure about her because like she could be lying to be the one who gets saved, whereas I think the children and the lifeguard should have priority.
Mm-hmm.
That's a valid point. Now I kind of want to change my lifeguard to the woman who thinks she's pregnant, because if she's already going to be selfish like that right off the get and kind of make up stuff so she can save herself, those are typically the type of people who end up getting you killed in scary movies.
Right.
They're like, no, I have to do this because I need this, and then they die, and then they get everyone killed. And under a situation where there could be a lot of issues. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, actually, something
Because
tells
it says she
me.
doesn't think, or she doesn't know, she thinks.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'd actually save the lifeguard instead and not save the woman who thinks she's pregnant.
Cool.
I'm gonna change that because okay, so I have captain, elementary school teacher, senior citizen, and the woman who thinks she's pregnant. Yeah, you guys swayed me on that. Because that does make for a solid save rescue. You got a veteran nurse, a lifeguard,
oh.
and then everyone else.
Right. Like I want to keep the people who I know could come of use should something happen. Because what happens if on the way back to like the senior citizen, like what if they had a health emergency and then they passed away before they got to safety, and then that's 5 people who died.
Yep. I didn't even think about that. Like, you have no idea what their health is. And then, stuff like that is extremely stressful, and they already have a weak everything, and then they'd probably die just by being on the boat for 2 days. Whereas, the twins and every other young person would be okay for at least a week. Unless they had pre-existing conditions.
So many possibilities.
I know. That's like it's so hard because there's so many, you have no idea what anything else is, any other storyline. It's just these short sentences.
It's interesting. So the 4 that you choose to kill, Athaiah, is captain, senior citizen, elementary school teacher, woman who thinks she's pregnant.
Yep.
Okay. And what about you, Tiana?
I concur because I can't make a logical argument against anybody else versus the teacher. I can't tip the scales. The everybody else has a purpose or some a whole life ahead of them, whereas the teacher could be older.
Okay.
I don't know. I couldn't put them above anybody else who's remaining.
Right. I agree.
Interesting.
Yeah. Awesome.
Also, I think we did we cover everything? Is that everything? Discussion 1, 2.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. And I made a list of everyone who chose to kill per se. Do you want me to send you guys these notes or anything, or?
Yeah, we can put it
Yes,
in the group me.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, it was good working with y'all, and I'll send you this to the group me.
Perfect. All right.
All right.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank
Y'all
you
as
too.
well.